in the next few days or so, because a number of issues will come up.
Definitely.
And we'd need to update our motorists on your plans and your operations as well. Thanks for always making time. Always great talking to you. Xolani Fihla, JMPD spokesperson. 29 minutes to 4 o'clock. About 40 seconds late. Apologies, Mbali. Mbali has got the latest eyewitness news headlines with us. Mbali, hey.
Thanks, Tabo. Good afternoon. Communications Minister Solly Malatsi has dismissed calls to withdraw his policy directive to allow companies like Starlink to operate without meeting certain BEE requirements. Malatsi says the opposition to this directive is all about political expediency. It follows calls by Communications Portfolio Committee Chairperson Kusela Sangoni Diko for the immediate withdrawal of that directive. She says it goes against the spirit of the law. Babalondenze reports.
Solly Malatsi's draft directive was first published in May this year, before it went out for public participation. Last week, Malatsi gazetted the directive following the public participation process. He says most people are in favor of the move to allow companies like Starlink to invest in equity equivalents as opposed to selling part of the business to a local black investor in accordance with triple BEE laws.
And upon an interrogation of those submissions, the support for the policy directive was overwhelming.
Malatsi says there's no need to withdraw the directive despite some opposition.
So there is, quite frankly, no need for any action beyond what we have done with making sure that the policy directive is consistent with the law.
Meanwhile, Communications Committee Chairperson Kusela Sangoni Diko says they will convene a meeting in the new year to consider the developments. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
The first G20 meeting under the United States' presidency is set to get underway in Washington, D.C. today without South Africa. In a diplomatic note sent by Pretoria to member states, the Department of International Relations has asked for South Africa's exclusion to be placed on the agenda of the two-day meeting for discussion and clarification. The department says it was officially informed by the United States on the 4th of this month that it was not welcome to participate in any G20 events in the US in the coming year. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
After boycotting much of South Africa's G20 program this year, including the Leaders Summit in Johannesburg last month, the United States is now freezing South Africa out of its G20 events. Traditionally, the former, present and incoming hosts form the troika of countries who work together on the G20 agenda. But Pretoria says it's been informed by the United States that it will forgo this format for its G20 presidency. Furthermore, South Africa is not invited to the meetings of Sherpas, working groups and ministers, as well as the 2026 Leaders Summit in Miami. South Africa has now asked its G20 allies to point out to the United States that its chosen absence from this year's G20 must be differentiated from being deliberately excluded by a G20 host. South Africa says it's concerned by the precedent this will set. The United Kingdom is set to take over the presidency from the US in 2027. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
The National Credit Regulator has urged South Africans to spend wisely and avoid a post-festive financial hangover come January next year. With approximately 10 million South Africans already over-indebted, the organisation has warned against impulsive spending during the silly season. NCR spokesperson Winnie Rabatata says although the South African Reserve Bank's recent repo rate cut provides short-term relief, consumers must not misinterpret this as a license to spend big.
It is important to save so that in Jan, you don't find yourself being overwhelmed with lots of debt. Saving is also a priority. Spend wisely. Do not let social pressures get you into debt. And always ensure that when you do borrow, you borrow wisely from registered credit providers.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 26 and 28 degrees.
Heading into Soweto, there's an accident scene. This is in the Southgate area on the N12 westbound before the Deep Kloof interchange, causing some delays. Also traveling through the Protea Glen Lenasia area, there's slow-moving traffic N12 westbound approaching the R558. Selby Joburg CBD expect about a 30-minute delay. M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road.
The top story in EWN. Communications Minister Solly Malatsi has dismissed calls to withdraw his policy directive to allow companies like Starlink to operate without meeting certain BEE requirements.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're finally taking your long-awaited break.
You're going to see your family.
And you're saying goodbye for now.
To your 9 to 5.
But you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite talk station.
Talk station.
This festive season, 702 will keep playing your favorite songs.
Having engaging conversations.
And keeping you entertained. So, make sure to sit back,
relax,
and walk the talk with us this festive season.
Download the Prime Media Plus app to make sure you don't miss a single conversation.
Happy holidays
From 702.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas. With festive savings like Coca-Cola Original Taste Less Sugar Soft Drink 2 litres, 3 for 65 Rand. And Easy Carve Boneless Gammon for 124.99 per kilo. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million Rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper or shop on 6060. T&Cs apply.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that video to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 48-year-old Felicity, who now pays a low 836 Rand a month for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson. With Outsurance, you get the legendary Out bonus that pays you a percentage of your premiums back if you're claim-free. SMS out to 45142. Make today the day you switch and get more out. After switching, 31-year-old Palisa now pays only 926 Rand a month for her 2024 Kia Sonet. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? Get a quote today. And if Outsurance can't beat what you're currently paying, you can ask for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
At Dis-Chem, get ready to celebrate instant savings with better rewards. Swipe to get 25% off plus an extra 10% off some of your favorites, including all Revlon foundations, lipsticks, and Glimmer products, all Elizabeth Arden and Elizabeth Taylor single fragrances, and all Nutri-Women and Nutri-Derma Total Glow products. Look out for the Better Rewards icon in-store and online. Don't miss out. Offers valid until 11 January 2026. Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hi, so whenever I'm driving with the kids, we put it on shuffle. iTunes gets to control the songs. Remember, we already have the music. Everyone's stuff is already on the playlist. So it just goes on and off. It moves from me listening to gospel, then it moves to your German music, then it moves to amapiano. It's like a mixed masala. You swear you are eating several colors whenever you're driving. It's but it's so nice because everyone gets that chance.
Hi guys, hi. I can't believe I'm listening to you guys argue about what music you're going to listen to on a road trip. Why are you guys not listening to 702?
That's a good one.
That's when we're on leave. Oh, yeah, that's a very good one. That's a very good one. But I'll tell you what, when I'm driving with my kids and taking them to school, I want to listen to 702. They want to listen to Anele. I always lose that battle. Always. So I know what's going on that show for those 30 minutes driving to school. So the kids have it. But you're completely right. Completely right. 011-883-0702. And in case you're wondering what are we talking about, we were asking you earlier on that if you're going on a road trip and you're playing music, who should be deciding on that music? Who should say you are listening to these songs and not those songs? Is it the driver? Or do you vote? Or does a guy who's paying for gas determine what you should be listening to? Let us know on 072 702 1702, 19 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
With Tholakele Mganga, she'll tell us the very latest on the world of sports. Good afternoon. Welcome, Tholakele. What's the latest?
Thanks so much, Thabo. India beat South Africa by 7 wickets to take a 2-1 lead in their 5-match T20 series. That's after the tourists were all out for 117. After being asked to bat, South Africa struggled to build partnerships, with captain Aiden Markram scoring more than half of the team's total. That's with 61 off 46 balls.
Both the new ball bowlers bowled really well. I mean, you can have friendly conditions, but ultimately the bowlers still have to land the ball in the right areas, and that's exactly what they did. So you have to give credit to them for that. From ball number one, they were straight on it and made life really difficult.
In the Premier League, Arsenal remain 2 points clear of Manchester City following wins over Wolves and Aston Villa respectively, while at Stamford Bridge, Enzo Maresca insists he is happy being Chelsea manager and remains committed to the job. That comes after he had out at the lack of support for him and the players on Saturday, despite them beating Everton 2-0.
Since I joined the club, the last 48 hours has been the worst 48 hours since I joined the club, because many people didn't support us. Worst 48 hours since I joined the club, because people didn't support me and the team in general. I love the fans, and we are very happy with the fans.
After a successful trial in community rugby, World Rugby have confirmed that a lower sternum tackle height will be introduced into the elite game for the first time at next year's World Under-20 Championships. The trials have taken place over the last 2 seasons in 11 countries and showed a change in player behaviour. This resulted in up to 10% reduction in upright tackles, with more unions reporting a reduction in concussion rates. And South Africa have retained their men's and women's netball titles after the African Championships. The men beat Zimbabwe 40-29, while Jenny van Dijk's Proteas claimed a 56-34 win over Uganda to win a record 5th continental title.
There's quite a few, but Komashila must say good today. You know, being a goal attack, it's so versatile that we can play around that wing attack position as well, and just really managing that attack. She was formidable on the court today with a lot of discipline, and also, you know, she's just a playmaker in her own right. I think Jamie van Dijk really had a fantastic tournament, and not to throw away Tanlay Mata. You know, it's a real hard work about in the middle there.
Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
With Mr. K, what's happening on our roads on the eve of June? Not June, but December 16th.
Sure, Mr. T. Happy December, boss. Well, at this stage, not looking too bad, I must say, on our roads, being the holiday season, the festive season, tomorrow being a holiday. But however, it is peak hour traffic. There's a bumper-to-bumper traffic in Protea Glen heading into Lenasia. N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Southgate accident scene, N12 westbound before the Deep Roof interchange, slowing down traffic if you're heading in and out of the Joburg CBD. We have about a 30-minute delay in Selby that's coming from the Germiston area, M2 westbound from the Crown interchange to Main Reef Road. Also slow-moving traffic leaving the Joburg CBD, Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nazareth Road, while in Mayfair, traffic sluggish on Church Street between Albertina Sisulu and the Soweto Highway. And finally, in Ekurhuleni, if you are leaving Springs heading towards Emalahleni, there's more than a 30-minute delay on the N12 eastbound between Pansy and Nell Street. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
15 minutes to 4 o'clock. You're on 702. John is not here. My name is Thabo Mashao. I'm happy to be in your company all the way till 6. And we asked a very divisive question, if you will, because politics and religion, including music, can really divide the nation into two. So, Tholakele, firstly, good afternoon. I hope you're well. I haven't seen you in a minute. It's been quite a while.
Weren't you standing in for someone last week and I saw you?
Last week? Were we on air together?
You are always standing in for someone.
I know, but did I see you in the office?
Yes, you did. I'm
a week
so
is
glad I'm so
really
unremarkable. That you can't remember.
No, it's not that. It's truly not that. I just have a short memory. It's really not that. But something that I wanted to ask you about, Tholakele, because the nation is always looking forward to your astute counsel on these complex matters that divide South Africa right into two, right in the middle. You're driving with your friends, you're going wherever it is that you're going, or family members, and you driving to a picnic or whatever it is. It's going to take 2.5 hours to get there, and you're chilling, but you need to play some music. Who is deciding the music? Who is playing or allowed to play the music? Is it the person who pays for the gas, petrol, or is it the driver?
It's the driver, because the aim is for them to be alert and aware.
Yeah.
And if they're playing the music that they enjoy,
Yeah.
the driving experience is more enjoyable. For us as the passengers, our job is just to make sure that the driver is comfortable. And if they want to play Joyous Celebration for 2.5 hours, we will listen to Joyous Celebration.
Jeez.
Joyous 1 to Joyous 16, back to
I
back.
know, like 28 now.
Yeah, I think so,
Could be
42 or
up to- yeah.
something, somewhere. No, but Tolagele, that's unfair. What about other guys? You may be wanting something else and you're in a different mood. And here I am boring you with Bill Withers. And you really want to get into the groove of Mapiano and you're like,
First of all, Tabo, we're now obviously you're going to the Stockfell. So that's why I'm not super Withers. But the key is, I'm assuming if we're all friends, we all have a similar music taste.
not
So we-
necessarily.
Okay, you and your friends have issues. So in that moment, also, I guess it also depends what the festival is. I'm
Yes.
assuming if maybe, for example, we're going to
Babyface.
Soundset. Mdala Buti. If we're going to Soundset, we're playing like a specific brand of music to make the driver comfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe, if you're going to Babyface, we are playing Tony Braxton for like 3 hours to get in the mood.
Yeah. So you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, Tolagele is giving me a childhood trauma. Because I remember when we used to take long road trips with my family, my parents, right?
Yeah.
They would insist on playing Solomon gospel the whole way. We didn't have a choice to play
Yes.
trompetes and anything like that.
Yeah.
So we slept throughout the trip, and that was boring. It's not exciting.
It's not
So
exciting
I don't
for
allow
everyone.
That. I don't allow that in my house.
Let's hear from the 16-year-old Tolagele. We're
Thank
listening.
you. Forever young. But also you have to remember, especially people that are driving like in December,
Yeah.
a lot of it is fear. So they play the gospel because you're watching.
No.
Yeah. How many road
Who are you
accidents
driving
are you
with?
dealing with? No, not with people within the car.
Oh, I
The
see.
other drivers.
Yes,
So
yes.
you're trying to get into a zone where you like literally calling on whoever you believe in.
Yeah.
Be like in that moment during these 3 hours.
To call you home.
Yeah.
Lion of Judah, come through.
Yeah, come. Yeah, take me home. Open the gates of heaven. No way. I'd love to hear from you. 072-702-1702. The person offering to pay for gas, should they be the one deciding which songs must be played in the car? Or should we vote? We must just all take a vote and say the majority wins. Let us know on 072-702-1702. 11 minutes to 4 o'clock.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
We come from a very difficult past as South Africans, and one of those memories would be the fact that about 3,000 people were executed by hanging in South Africa. And you'd remember that this is from the 1950s, and death penalty was abolished in 1995 or so, just after the democratic era. And some facts about that was that 14 women were executed, and 3,000 other people were executed, and they were mainly black males in the main. And so there's a very interesting play called Hangman's Noose, and it is showing, and we thought let's just reflect on that just a little bit, because it somehow puts a mirror in front of us as a society, and reminds us of where we come from, and also on the backdrop of there are a number of people who still want the death penalty to come back. And it's not all, it's not a supposed deterrent that it promises to be. It can be a very harsh thing that the society has to live under. Joining me, Nhlanhla Mahlangu, Creative Director of the Hangman's News, on the line. Nhlanhla, thanks for joining us. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me, and hello to you, Tabo, and your listeners.
This production is very interesting. Please say a little bit about it, because it delves deeper into the annals of history and also puts a mirror in front of us as a society today, reflecting on a negative past that we come from. Why now, and how's the project going?
Why now? The past is the key to understanding the present. And when you understand the present through the past, then you find better tools to actually shape the future we're going to and imagine the future and know exactly what are the things that are not wanted, what are the things that we have come from, and what are the things that we need to reconcile from. And for us to understand reconciliation, we need to understand what actually happened.
And say a little bit about it without giving too much away. Hangman's Noose, what are we in for?
This is a research and development phase. What we are doing at this moment, we have 5 writers, 5 directors, and each writer and each director, 5 writers and 5 directors in 5 regions of Gauteng. In each region of Gauteng, there's a writer and a director and 7 actors. And we are what we are doing. We are researching this subject. Each region of Gauteng has a topic. So tomorrow we are presenting 5 plays which come from 5 regions of Gauteng, and we're presenting them at TX Theatre. So it is a multiple subject because we want to create a one big multimedia hybrid production. But in this way of researching, we are gathering information, but we are actually thinking in action. We're thinking in performance because we understand that, yes, the information is in the libraries, is in the internet, is with our elders, but there's more information that lives in our DNA, and performance gives us an opportunity to access that one.
And obviously, there are some people who would say perhaps this is triggering memories that were somehow in the past and best left in the past. So that the country can move into a reconciliatory phase and get to a point where we all truly try to get along. How would you respond to that? Someone saying you're opening old wounds?
Opening old wounds. Are they closed, those wounds? That's my first question would be, are they closed if you say I'm opening? And secondly, do we actually understand what are we reconciling? And did actually the perpetrators of these atrocities come forward and actually apologized? Did it actually happen? Or did us, black people, who we because we are actually peace-loving people, and we can't, because of our trauma, we couldn't wait for peace, and we jumped into the result. Do we actually understand what happened?
So
do we actually, I mean, there are a lot of things that we actually don't know about that are being uncovered in these places, so that we actually understand what is it that we're reconciling.
Yeah. Share with us one or two, perhaps, things that you've uncovered so far. I know that this is ongoing. I'm just thinking, just from the top of my head, that people like Hosi Mampuru, the second here in at the Correctional Services Center in Pretoria, you have Solomon Mahlangu, and many others. And those places, by the way, are still here. And the gallows, where the gallows were placed, they're still here, and they're part of our institutional memory.
One story that touches me the most, it's a very simple one. The arrest, how arrests happen and how interrogations happened, and how the processing of the arrested people happened, how the death penalty itself was not necessarily to hang the so-called terrorists, but was to hang the struggle, to actually create and instill fear to those who were fighting for injustice. That's number one. And how they would do that, they would interrogate. If they are convinced that you are a so-called terrorist, they would arrest your mother and interrogate your mother and actually punish her and give her electric shocks and all that, and force her to signing a confession form that, yes, my son is a terrorist. And some parents would actually agree out of torture. And then because you have signed this confession, and then that confession is going to be used in the court of law against you. These are the perverse actions or activities that were done in order to justify the hanging of people. And when a person is hung, it would be public news, and they make sure that they They make sure that the village knows, so that they create a trauma and a shock, so that whoever is thinking about, fighting for justice and equality, you can have the fear. And also inviting of the family after you've been hung to come and sit in a sermon where the priest will sit and condemn your actions in front of your family to say, yeah, he's going to hell because of his actions, so be better. And that kind of a sermon. So people have driven from Eastern Cape to Hosin Mampuru to attend this sermon, and they're not even given the body. And to know that the for death penalty, when you are sentenced, sometimes you would actually have your death date and your grave number, and as you go into your solitary confinement. And there's a lot of things that these were the systems that not that black, the might of apartheid regime and the weakness of black people, and it's not about that. It's about like the techniques and the strategies of horror that were used to actually hang the revolution.
Nhlanhla, we have just 40 seconds remaining. Please share about the details, what's happening tomorrow, and what can people expect, even though it's perhaps not open completely to the public.
Well, it's a free event. It's at the TX Theatre in Tembisa, and it starts at 10 until 6 p.m. What we are doing, we are presenting 5 plays written by 5 writers and 5 directors from 5 regions of Gauteng. We are thinking in action. We are gathering data. We are gathering information in order for us to actually create a hybrid production, a multimedia production that can sit at the same level of Sarafina, same level with all the greats, Hamilton on Broadway, and tell the South African story.
Nhlanhla, thanks very much for your time. Nhlanhla Mahlangu is creative director of the Hangman's News. 2 minutes to 4.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
The votes are coming in. Moss in Pretoria, Morning Africa. Whitney all the way, brother. Zuki is saying, I'm voting Dolly only because Whitney's version gets played way more. I love them both. Let's take 1 or 2 voice notes.
I think Whitney Houston is the best.
Yo, Africa, this song, the Whitney Houston version, that was the last song I played for my son when the coffin went down and I almost fell in the hole. And I said to him, I will always love you.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas. With festive savings like Coca-Cola Original Taste Less Sugar Soft Drink 2 litres, 5 for 100 Rand. And Koo Canned Baked Beans Sweet Corn Mixed Vegetable or Garden Peas, any 7 for 99 Rand. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million Rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday, only at Checkers Hyper. T&Cs apply.
Naked people have happier marriages because naked people spend less time on insurance admin. They have more time for date nights or couples therapy. Go to naked.insure now. Get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds and get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
This is EWN.
The MK party loses its bid to oust the KZN premier, while the DA defends the stability of the coalition government. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. We begin with news just in. NPA head advocate Shamila Batoyi has left the inquiry looking into the fitness of Johannesburg Director of Public Prosecutions Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office. Batoyi abandoned proceedings after being reprimanded by the presiding panel. Batoyi has been testifying as the main witness against Chauke. She's accused Chauke of making politically motivated prosecutorial decisions and has been cross-examined by by Chauke's lawyers for days now. But over the last 2 weeks, Batoyi has been pressed by the panelists to substantiate her allegations. It was during Batoyi's testimony today that she mentioned that she had spoken to the KZN Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Elaine Harrison, over the weekend. This was regarding a decision that was made to withdraw prosecution in one of the Cato Manor Unit cases. But the panel, led by retired Justice Besin Gabinde, questioned Batoyi on this, reprimanding her for speaking to a witness.
Because this inquiry is instituted at your instance, and we have been appointed to preside over this inquiry, and you decide, totally disregarding this panel, and to walk away and not decide not to come back here.
Chairperson, I was in the building. When I was told to come back, I did come back.
Do you want to walk away now?
I would appreciate it if I can be excused.
This is the request that you ought to have made before you behaved the way you did.
The DA in KwaZulu-Natal has defended the work of the Government of Provincial Unity, insisting the coalition is stable. This afternoon, Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli retained his position as the leader of the province by surviving a motion to oust him. The motion was brought forward by the MK party, which has accused the coalition of failing to deliver services and financial mismanagement. DA leader in the province, Dean McPherson, says the current administration is doing okay.
The provincial government is very, very stable. That's why you are seeing these play out today. If they had the numbers, they would have sat down and they would have put up their hands. They don't want to put up their hands because they know that they're going to lose.
McPherson says the chaos caused in the House deserves to be addressed.
And this is totally unacceptable what we're seeing. Intimidation, threats, and the irony is that the MK was complaining of intimidation, but here they are, intimidating the Premier, intimidating MECs, intimidating members. They are the ones that are problematic in this House.
The presidency says telecoms regulator ICASA should be given space to assess the new policy directive that would allow Starlink to operate in South Africa under more flexible rules. Communications Minister Solly Malatsi recently published a policy directive instructing ICASA to permit foreign investors to set up shop without being required to cede 30% of equity. The move is widely seen as facilitating tech billionaire Elon Musk's Starlink company to operate in the country. Speaking at a media briefing in Pretoria today, the presidency emphasized that while Malatsi's policy directive is lawful, ICASA must independently review and consider it. Alfara Mushwana reports.
South African law requires foreign-owned telecommunications companies to hold at least 30% black ownership. This mandate, which is part of the BBEE framework, aims to address past racial inequalities. But tech billionaire Elon Musk has publicly criticized the policy, claiming that South Africa discriminates against white-owned foreign companies. While presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya insists ICASA should be allowed time to independently judge Communications Minister Solly Malatsi's policy directive, he says Starlink is not the only cookie in the jar.
So we should just avoid the trap of getting fixated over Starlink. There are 4 or 5 other companies that have expressed interest in providing their services here in South Africa.
The ANC and EFF believe that Malatsi's policy directive seeks to bypass BBEE regulations. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
And further afield, 27 patients are still receiving treatment in Sydney hospitals following a mass shooting targeting a Jewish festival at a popular beach. The New South Wales Health Service says 6 people are currently in a critical condition and another 6 are in a stable condition. Yesterday, a father and son opened fire into crowds packing that beach, killing 15 people, including a child. The father was killed while the son was arrested and remains under guard in hospital with serious injuries. Gold is trading at $4,346.44 an ounce. The rand is at 16.83 to the dollar, 22.52 to the pound, 19.76 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $61.41 a barrel.
Protea Lane, we still have bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558 in Southgate. Heading into Soweto, there's an accident scene N12 westbound before the the Diepkloof interchange, causing delays, and in Selby leaving the Joburg CBD, you can still expect about an hour delay on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec Road.
In your sport, the Proteas T20 struggles continue as India takes series lead. Enzo Maresca slams lack of support at Chelsea amid his worst 48 hours at the club. And World Rugby says lower tackle heights to be trialled at the Under-20 World Championships.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated thundershowers expected. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 15 degrees, peaking at a high of 28. Pretoria 16 and 30 and Vereeniging 15 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. NPA head advocate Shamila Batoyi has left the inquiry looking into the fitness of Johannesburg Director of Public Prosecutions Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes after 4 o'clock. Welcome back. Great having you with us. Great. I'm just taken aback by what I've just heard on Eyewitness News a second ago, as Mbali just read out a bulletin that Shamila Batoyi just left the Commission of Inquiry, and that was looking into Chauke's fitness to hold office. She has not been having a great time on that stand, and she has been thin as far as detail is concerned. And this just, I'm wondering to what extent does it now create a precedent of sorts in a commission such as this one. Nonetheless, the show continues. It could be that you have your views on that matter. Feel free to filter it through to 072 702 1702 or just call us on 011 883 0702. Also on our socials, I'd love to hear from you. Just to give you a bit of update as to what we will be touching on in a short while, we'll look into the South African Liberation Movement, the Tiki and the future. And this piece was written by Dr. Paadile Hohla, who will be joining us. He's a professor of practice at the University of Johannesburg. And he laments the state of the ANC, and to a large extent, without perhaps putting words in his mouth, as he will be speaking for himself. He's saying that perhaps we've got a begging bowl and we're going around with that begging bowl and singing for a supper, as opposed to determining the proper future for the millions and majority of South Africans who need a party that can stand firm on addressing issues of poverty, inequality and unemployment. 10 minutes to 5 o'clock, we will speak to Dr. Dumi Mashego, navigating holiday blues, because a number of people will be feeling the blues of the holiday, feeling lonely, and not that they won't be with anyone, but the loneliness that comes with the demands or expectations of this season. Feel free to send your interactions to 072 702 17029 after 4.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good day. On the issue of the guests and playlist, maybe not, but I am very concerned because me and my friends, when we drive in their cars, they want us to listen to their playlist. But when they come to my car, they want to still listen to their playlist. I find it unfair. Yes, I might have a different taste in music and brother in music, but they want to only listen to their playlist in both ends. How is that? How do you solve this?
That's unfair.
The Tibos 702 Landers, the drive to Matatiele is 10 hours. 10 hours. Majority of that trip, these people are sleeping. All of them. I'm awake alone. I decide what I play in the car. And there's no option. It's a dictatorship. The dictatorship ends only when the two rugrats wake up and they say we want to listen to Taylor Swift or whatever they want to listen to, Baby Shark. Then the dictatorship ends. But other than that, I run the show.
Hi, Wendy. I think Andrew from Soshanguve, our president and the presidency are treating South Africans badly. These reports must be, given out so that we know, and actions must be taken. This thing of sealing reports is actually bringing the government itself into serious disrepute, because then it's actually, draining our trust on our government and our leadership. Thank you. Great show. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, thanks very much. And I think the previous voice note was just reflecting slowly on the matter that we raised earlier on the show in the first hour with Alpha Ramoshwana. And as he was reflecting on what the presidential spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya, had reported to the nation in the earlier parts, well, not the earlier, but the latter part of the morning. And he was expressing that the Madlanga Commission interim report, which is due on the 17th, it will only be for the eyes of the president, not for the rest of us. It's not going to be made public. And some of the reasons contained therein included the fact that there are some witnesses who would still come back, who had shown up at the commission, but would still make a return to conclude their testimonies and their versions of the stories. So the interim report is somewhat incomplete as it is now. So it would create an unnecessary back and forth debate, and perhaps to a large extent add unwanted dynamic in the national narrative. So the nation should rather wait for the comprehensive final report to enjoy. But I agree with you. It does not augur well for a democratic state when we are told that only the president will see the report. It does not speak highly of the confidence that the authorities have on us as a nation. But also, it somehow creates, again, a precedent of sorts wherein the reports will be privy to authorities and not the rest of us. I think we are all smart enough to decipher for ourselves, and if anything changes between now and the final report, and I'm sure quite a lot, if not most of it will change, we will be able to understand. I think they're missing a big PR exercise in this venture, but what do I know? They know best. What do I know indeed? I think it's an unnecessary own goal. It's completely unnecessary. The nation has been seeing what's happening, following it live on TV. Why would we not be adults enough to bite big people's food? It beats me, but that's what they say. So that voice note was mainly reflecting on that. It's 14 minutes after 6, well, not 6, 14 minutes after 4 o'clock. Garabut clearly, it says to me, it's time to go home. But it's way, way, way too early. Speaking of Garabo, he'll shortly tell us what's on the road.
EWN Traffic.
I see that delays in Selby, Garabo. What's happening?
Yeah, no, I guess it's just one of those festive moments where people are shopping. There's many areas to shop, like China Mall and so forth and so forth in the Selby area. So at this stage, you can expect about an hour delay on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec Road. Also expect about a 30-minute delay. The M2 westbound from the Crown Interchange all the way to Main Reef Road. That's all leaving. That's heading in and out of the Joburg CBD. Still in the Mayfair area, traffic sluggish on Church Street between Albertina Sisulu and the Soweto Highway. In Springs, that's heading towards Emalahleni. There's about an hour delay still on the N12 eastbound between Pansy Road and Nell Street. In Southgate, traveling towards Soweto, accident scene N12 westbound before the Deep Kloof interchange, slowing down traffic, while in Protea Lane, bumper-to-bumper traffic, N12 west between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. And in Pretoria, Fountains heading into the CBD, expect about a 20-minute delay, N14 northbound from Euphrates to Khosi Mampuru Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 7021 702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
What exactly is happening that a woman can suffer mastitis?
Generally, mastitis is an infection in the breast, and it usually happens in the milk ducts. Many of us only respond after day 3, and now we really can't bear the pain, and now we go to the doctor. So my first recommendation is when your breasts are inflamed, they're hard, they're sore, and you've tried to release the milk, you can either release the milk by standing under a hot shower, or you can release the milk by putting a warm compress, like putting a warm cloth or a towel on your breast, and that little bit of relief helps you to now express milk just to soften the breast a little bit. But if this is not helping at home, then please, moms, you must go to the doctor. Do not wait beyond day 3.
Dr. Chantal Witten.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Stop and think. Will you survive the AI revolution or thrive? Regenesis students are thriving. 11 cutting-edge schools, 111 countries, world-class team of 1,111 with one mission, awakening your potential. Choose from law, business, technology, AI, health, economics, entrepreneurship, public management, skills academy, and digital Regenesis. Undergraduate, postgraduate, upskilling, customized corporate programs. The question isn't, can you afford to enroll? It's, can you afford not to? Enroll now, regenesis.net. Achieve your dreams.
You could spend 10 minutes on social media or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 GWMP series, 54-year-old Amos now pays only 1,004 Rand a month. And for his 2024 Toyota Urban Cruiser, 55-year-old Andre pays just 776 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
On the next Money Show, we kick things off with the agricultural economist, Wandile Sehlobo. As South Africa's wine grape industry heads into 2026 with a lot of optimism, then as festive plans take shape, we unpack the insurance risks of holiday home swaps, Airbnb hosting, and car loans with Ernest North. But after that, we explore the art of culinary success with our How I Make My Money guest, Peter Templehoff, the award-winning chef. And as always, expert analysis of the day's biggest business news.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, accelerating infrastructure-led growth and economic resilience through the South African National Treasury's 11.8 billion rand infrastructure and development finance bond. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
702 indeed. We threatened earlier on that we'd be speaking to Dr. Padi Lehohla, Professor of Practice at the University of Johannesburg, after putting together a very interesting piece in the Mercury where he lamented South Africa's liberation movement, the Tiki and the future, as he claimed, he had put it. And Dr. Lehohla is joining us right now. Dr. Lehohla, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702 once again. Always great chatting to you.
No, thank you very much. And we are heading for the end of the year.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, and we are looking forward to it. And I always love how you write because it's so metaphoric and intensely so, and with a dose of your personal experiences to help mere mortals like myself relate to the story a little bit better. But herein you lament the not the collapse as such, but the state of the African National Congress. And in summation, I could be wrong, but that's why you're here. It appears to me that you are saying we are always on the side tracks like a child with a begging bowl, and we are happy to be pleasing multinational authorities and entities at the expense of the majority of South Africa. How would you phrase it if I haven't put it well?
Yes, I think you have put it quite well. I think the major problem was in 1992 with the adoption of the Montflair scenarios that were presented by Anglo to the government. The circumstances, though, were quite difficult because an agenda that was a lot more to the left was undermined by Russia disintegration. In fact, it was in Reagan's favor and Margaret Thatcher's favor. They had prepared for that moment to make Russia disintegrate. So Gorbachev was then there. And part of the Ukraine problem starts with the agreement that Gorbachev, finding himself in a corner, had to deal with the perestroika and the glasnost. And then, of course, it's only now that Putin is starting to, and is actually in polar position in terms of re-establishing the mighty Russia, although not territorially, but in terms of its influence in world affairs.
Yes.
At the time, it was nowhere. China was nowhere. South Africa, with a left-leaning project, could only look at Mozambique and Angola as successes. And there was nothing successful. Mandela has just come out of prison. So the neoliberal agenda was right there in front for adoption. The choices were rather limited.
Yeah, and
but to have stayed there, it's where the criminal scene starts. Because
sorry, go ahead. Finish your
yes,
thought.
That is where we had everything, including a surplus in our budgets. At that point in time, we should have said, now we've got our foot on the ground, and we are working with ourselves and adopting the RDP proper. But we started going, selling everything, allowing open markets, all mutual tasted, going away, and then came back. We see. So this is where the tiki is taken by the globalists. And it's being taken now with G20.
And at the face of it, including in various media platforms, lest I'm accused of generalization, it has been placed, South Africa was placed as having hosted a very successful, effective and competent G20, which has positioned us favorably in the eyes of the world. But then you argue here that they've traveled to Davos, to the G7 and to the G20. They've spoken the English of neoliberalism fluently. They've been praised by the IMF and the World Bank for their sound fundamentals and their prudent fiscal management. They've preened on the world stage, drunk on the flattery of the West. Doesn't the West anyway dictate the pace and the intensity of the economy? And if they reject us, some will argue that we would be out in the periphery anyway.
Well, we are out with BRICS, and we are out with BRICS on our own. And BRICS are compatriots. We suffer the same kind of fate from in the hands of the West.
Yeah.
I've pointed to how Russia was undermined and continues to be undermined at the promise of Reagan saying they'll never go across an inch outside Ukraine. They've done so. Now, you can't trust these guys at all. Even now, when Trump says South Africa is not going to go there, the West were supposed to have, if ever they believed in the agenda of South Africa, they should have said, if Trump, you lock South Africa out, we are not coming. But it has to be South Africa going to the West to plead that, ask Trump to allow us in. So it's a very clumsy situation where you host and then you are blocked in the next session. And I'm sure the West is going to say, well, Why don't you skip this one? You'll come to Britain. Don't worry, South Africa.
I see. And interestingly enough, you point at the poverty trends as you quote the statistician general having put out this report, and which revealed that approximately 23 million South Africans are living in poverty. The fate of this 23 million, it largely, to some extent, directly or otherwise, also lies in the hands of the World Bank and multinationals and various other big countries like the US, because indirectly or directly, they are responsible for economic stimulation in our country. So the elementary perhaps question that I am asking you, Ntatelohla, before we say goodbye, is that to what extent can we afford to have our own agenda alienating the global West, and do so successfully without incurring the ire of the international trends?
Well, we have chosen BRICS, and the West cannot do much if we stay with BRICS. And the problem is we've gone into a neoliberal program where we have now brought the business of Africa at the center with Treasury. So you have the presidency and Treasury supervising. The Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation is seen nowhere. And then Andy Hoven says at least there are green shoots. You saw in Daily Maverick. And there are no green shoots. And he says, with this kind of environment, it is possible that the shoots will be even greener. And poverty tells us it is not so. So when we bring business at the center with the presidency, without the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, pointing to where South Africans should be, with future proof that the poverty will be reduced and in fact poverty be eliminated, then we have a very serious problem. 23 million children having no future. How do we actually sleep well at night when we have that kind of figure confronting us as a nation? 30 years into democracy, where land expropriation is still lacking. People don't produce their own food. Industrialization is in the doldrums. Whatever we are seeing, which is called green shoots here, it's a mockery of the West kind. We are supposed not to be in this kind of position anyway, where children find it difficult to go to school. Trains are not running. Children have to go into... And this is a very serious situation, and that's where the tiki has continuously been taken.
Definitely. Dr. Padile Hohla, thanks for your time, Professor of Practice at the University of Johannesburg. Always interesting thoughts. Whether you agree or not, it's food for thought. 28 after 4.
EWN Business.
With the SG of Broadcasting, Stephen Grootes is in front of me. Hope
nice
you're good, man.
See you. I'm
Lovely
good.
to
How
see
are
you.
you?
All good, all good. How's it going with you?
Fine, thank you. Look, I mean, trading volumes I'm expecting down a little bit on the JSE. We'll see closer towards the close. It is, a public holiday tomorrow. The green shoots, if you're looking for some, and I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I have a personal policy of undue optimism. But the rand has been strengthening over the weekend. So we did go below 17 last week, and strengthening since then. A couple of big dynamic factors, couple of things at play here, okay? The one is obviously the gold price, and because we have so much gold, that money's just coming in.
Yes.
The second then is also that the dollar's been weakening, and there's a lot of concern around what's going to happen with the U.S. Federal Reserve.
Yes.
And then the fact that they cut rates last week also would lower the dollar. So that was the sort of short-term stuff.
Yeah.
But the JSE All Share at the moment down 0.13%, 113,160 points. Financials up 1.46. Industrials down 0.15, and resources down 1.52. Mostly the gold miners again, and some of the platinum miners too. So DRD gold down 7%, Sibanye down 3.14. HCI, I mean, last week HCI had a very strong week. Cost and Consolidated Investments, they own
ENCA. And they're down, they had a very strong week now. They're down 3.05%, and Sasol's down 2.57% on the day as well. Bidcorp, the international conglomerate, they're up 2.6%. Sappi up 2.11%. Netcare up 2% on the day. And then one or two of the consumer shares looking quite nice today. Truworths is up 1.95 and Clicks is up 1.84. Lots going on with the Electricity Ministry. They say they've selected 7 companies as pre-qualified bidders to be part of rebuilding the transmission grid. They include firms from China, the Middle East, France. The Electricity Minister, José Nsoro also saying companies who want to use smelters, there's an agreement, a memorandum of understanding we're expecting with them and Eskom. They can't expect a free lunch from government or Eskom when it comes to electricity prices. I don't know how you square that circle, Tabo. It's very messy. I mean, if you say to people, do you want to pay for smelters? They're going to go, no.
Yes.
If you take them away, you lose lots of jobs. You lose lots of other things. It's very messy. I think the political fight over Starlink is just beginning, even though it's not really Starlink. So you would know Solly Malatsi, the DA's communications minister, he gazetted changes to regulations. It would allow ICASA to consider equity equivalent investment programs. Now, Parliament's communications chair, Kusila Sangoni Diko, I think she was on Clement this morning, actually. Now having a go at that. The deputy minister, Mondli Gungubel, is also from the ANC, also having a go, saying they should be withdrawn. The story's not over yet. But I also saw that the presidential spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya, didn't seem to criticize the minister at all.
Yeah.
So very interesting. We'll try and dig a little deeper into that into the Money Show tonight. And then in the US, stock index futures ticking slightly higher. There was a bit of a rout last week. People were concerned about tech shares. We are waiting for, once again, more economic data. In the gold price is $4,331.68. Platinum, $1,795.50, much higher than it's been. Brent crude, weaker. Oversupply on the market, $60.79. The rand to the dollar, 16.78 to the euro, 19.70 to the British pound, 22.46. Stephen Crotis, EWN Business.
And Stephen will be back with us in about an hour or so with more of those news. For now, Mbali is standing by with Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon again, Mbali.
Thanks, Tabo. Good afternoon. Action SA has reiterated its call for the city of Cape Town to deal with what it says is a rapidly developing sewage crisis along Cape Town's coastline. The party made submissions to an independent appeals panel after lodging a complaint against the city. This was over irregularities in obtaining permits to pump sewage from 3 marine outfalls. Action SA says since the appeal was lodged 2 years ago, about 20 billion litres of untreated sewage has been discharged into Cape Town's waters in breach of licensing conditions. Carlo Peterson has more.
Action SA National Chairperson Michael Beaumont held a media briefing at Greenpoint's Marine Outfall today to again highlight concerns about raw sewage being pumped into the ocean. Beaumont says the city keeps being granted permits to pump untreated sewage into the ocean despite public health and environment concerns.
Effectively, Action SA has grown concerned about the fact that the licensing conditions which are given to the city of Cape Town to put sewage out into this natural environment have not been met over a very long period of time.
The city has refuted Action SA's claims, saying it has not received any new permits and its current permit is being reviewed by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News at Sea Point Promenade.
Let's move further afield. An investigation is underway into the death of legendary filmmaker, director and actor Rob Reiner and his wife. They were found dead in their Los Angeles home. According to reports, the deaths were due to knife or stab wounds. Authorities are now investigating the incident as a homicide, and so far, no suspect or person of interest is currently being sought. Reiner is known for directing films, including The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally. And back here at home, experts at Standard Bank have cautioned consumers to juggle their finances carefully this festive season. With public holidays, shutdowns and year-end leave, the festive season fast-tracks the December payroll cycle. As a result, experts say January feels like the longest month, with an early December salary having to cover both Christmas and back-to-school costs. Solution owner for Digital Money Manager at Standard Bank, Shanae Motilal, says this extended gap can make managing money a bit challenging.
We've been analyzing this phenomenon that South Africans have typically coined very playfully as the January that never seems to end. And actually, there's some truth in it. Analyzing the pay gaps between December and January for salaried workers actually reveals that we wait 6 to 7 days longer than in any other month.
Motilal says there are tools to avoid financial anxiety at the start of the year.
Future Payments provides customers with their upcoming payments, the amounts, and the dates for the next 14 and 30 days, allowing you to really plan ahead for your urgent as well as your near future. It takes away that mental load that we all inevitably carry in January by allowing you to just not have to remember it all.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated thundershowers expected. Lows of between 15 and 16 degrees and highs of between 28 and 30.
City of Tshwane Fountains expect about a 20-minute delay heading into the Pretoria CBD N14 northbound between Euphus and Kgosi Mampuru in Southgate. There's that accident scene N12 westbound. This is near the Diepkloof interchange, slowing down traffic heading into Soweto. And if you're leaving the Joburg CBD, you can still expect about an hour delay on the M2 westbound from the Crown interchange to Main Reef Road.
The top story in EWN, Action SA has reiterated its call for the city of Cape Town to deal with what it says is a rapidly developing sewage crisis along Cape Town's coastline.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
You say that the minister can obviously issue a directive to CASA. What happens if they ignore you?
That is the beauty of our democracy and also the burden of our democracy is that the ICASA has to consider the policy directive. They have to consider the motivation made for it. And because they're an independent regulator, they have to come to their own conclusion. And that would be for ICASA to explain.
Minister Solly Malatsi, the Minister of Communications, speaking to us there about that firm policy direction.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Tip your way to glory in the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge, the free-to-play horse racing game with daily cash giveaways and massive jackpot prizes. Pick all the winners on the race card and you could win 100,000 Rand. Bet 50 Rand or more on your selections using the Bet Slip feature and you could walk away with 1 million Rand. Visit punterschallenge.hollywoodbets.net today and tip your way to the top. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
Naked people smell expensive because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums and more money on fancy French colognes with names they can't pronounce. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds. And because it's all online, it also costs less. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start smelling like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
How's it 702, Jenny G? I don't think we need any report to tell us what we really know. It's corrupt, it's rotten to the core, and it's being protected. Please God, we get a new party. I don't almost care which one it is, but certainly not the guys who've had 30 years chance. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Cheers, bye.
Yeah, and I suppose that's a story of our electoral narrative, isn't it, Ginny? That we will certainly get the same story over and over and over again. Well, next year, 2026 local government elections, whether they'll be held in 2027, we are yet to know. However, I suppose that will be a litmus test of things to come in 2029. But what sort of change are South Africans looking for? I'd love to hear from you on 011-883-0702. And you can also send you can also call us on 011-883-0702. It's 21 minutes to 5 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
With the great Tolagele Mganga standing by to give us the very latest. Hey again, Tolagele.
Hi, Tabo. Well, the Proteas women will be out to win their ODI series against Ireland when they clash in the second game tomorrow. Tasman Brits has discussed what the game plan will be as they look to add to their T20 triumph.
Yeah, so we definitely spoke about it, especially me and Goodall. We're going to definitely try and maybe rotate strike a bit better and maybe not hog too many balls. We haven't faced Ireland, so that was our first game, so hopefully a bit of leeway on that one. But yeah, hopefully the next game we can definitely improve on that.
England have made one change for their must-win third Ashes test against Australia, with Josh Tongue replacing Gus Atkinson, who struggled in the first two games. The clash gets underway from Wednesday, and Brendan McCullum remains confident that the English can win the series, despite being 2-0 down in the five-game showdown.
We knew when we came here that we had to win 3 tests to win the series, and the fact we're 2-0 down is we've made it harder on ourselves, but it doesn't stop the belief that you have within the dressing room. I don't think we've been anywhere near our best so far in these last 2 tests, and whilst the margins look huge in terms of the scoreboard, I think that we've certainly hit our moments in those first 2 test matches where we could have been a lot better, and we may have been able to put ourselves in a stronger winning position.
Cameroon are in turmoil ahead of AFCON, with coach Mark Bryers and FA President Samuel Eto'o naming 2 different squads. Eto'o announced that Bryers would be replaced by David Pago at the start of the month, and that the indomitable Lions squad wouldn't include Andre Onana and Vincent Obubaka. However, Bryers named his own team as he insisted that because he was appointed by the country's Minister of Sport rather than by the FA, only they can dismiss him. At the same time, Bram Mbemo and Amad Diallo are both expected to feature for Manchester United against Bournemouth tonight. After the game, they'll both depart for Morocco to join up with their national teams ahead of AFCON. Ruben Amorim says their absence over the next few weeks provides a great opportunity for other players in the squad to step up.
We need to adapt a little bit the way we are going to play the games, because we cannot think that we are going to play the same way without Ahmad, Brian and Us, but especially Ahmad and Brian, because of the characteristics that is really hard to get. They have more or less the same characteristics, both of them, and we are losing them for a few games, but it's a good opportunity for us to try to play in a different way.
And goalkeeper Lucas Zidane, the son of French World Cup winner Zinedine, looks likely to start for Algeria after regular number 1 Alexis Gonzalez was left out of the squad. Luca plays for Spanish second-tier side Grenada and made his debut in a World Cup qualifier back in October after switching international allegiance, having played for France at junior level. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
With Garabo Charlie. What's the latest on our roads, Garabo?
Well, at this stage, Fountains, Pretoria, expect about a 20-minute delay. That's heading into the Pretoria CBD. N14 northbound from Euphorus to Khosi Mampuru, Protea Lane, traveling into Soweto. Bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R558. Southgate, there's also an accident scene, N12 westbound before the Deep Kloof interchange, slowing down traffic in Selby. You can still expect more than a 30-minute delay. Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec, also expect about a 30-minute delay on the M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Mayfair, traffic sluggish on Church Street between Albertina Sisulu and the Soweto Highway. And if you're leaving Springs heading towards Emalahleni, expect about an hour delay. N12 eastbound from Pansy Road to Nell Street. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
011-883-0702, 17 minutes to 5 o'clock. John is not here. My name is Thabo Shole Mashao, and I'm with the regular gang. Everyone is here. Garabo, Tolagele, Rifue, and you, of course. Without you, we can't do it. Here's the thing. It's a festive season, Tolagele, and we'll be going to different places. Tomorrow, many of us are not working. I don't know if you're working. So we'll be chilling, doing a number of things. I think the 15th is really, in earnest, a proper day for holidays to kick off. So one place where you won't be seen these holidays. I know. For me, I won't be caught alive in Southgate for the festive season. So there's one place where you definitely won't be going to. One place you won't go to, you won't visit, you won't frequent because of how hectic it will be, or because you just think it will be too boring. One place, Twalegele, for you.
Is it specifically Southgate or like malls in general?
Southgate is an epitome of those malls that I'm speaking about.
Because I was about to be like, what is Southgate?
No, not specifically.
I have to agree with the malls because I went on Saturday and I had to do like a quick in and out.
Yeah.
It was not a
was messy.
I just can't, like, apart from like the little things, I'm not going to see myself at a mall.
At a mall.
And also, I hate to say it because we were discussing it earlier. Go Reef City.
Oh, hey, man, go Reef City.
Like, shout out to the parents. You
Same
guys
here.
are doing great things.
Yeah.
You guys will not be seeing us this
No, I won't be anywhere near Go Reef City. And those queues
suck.
and the kids love.
Dude,
I
went there this Good Friday holidays.
Yeah.
I was like, why did we even waste our time? Because you had to stand in line for like an hour just to have one ride.
Yes.
Sheesh, no
Yes.
way.
But I think as adults that want to do like fun stuff, let's wait for the children to go back to school and then we can go to the city. They can have it this December.
Yeah. Garo, is there any other place where you won't be seen?
Simple, the streets at night. I'm not there. Don't call me. I am not driving around Soweto, Sandton at night because people, you know how they get.
Yeah, the driving around is hectic.
So
actually, that's another thing.
I usually just sit at home and wait for everybody to get overexcited and then calm down. And then in January, that's when I hit the streets.
I know one place where all of us won't be seen these holidays.
Central
Joburg.
Go Bree Street.
Hey, man. What does 702 have to do with
Bree
this?
Taxi Road.
Yeah, Bree Taxi Road. No. Central Joburg.
Yeah,
you
in
don't want
general.
to be in Central Joburg.
Lepo, yeah, da. Oh, papa.
Pickpocketing. That's what Garo is saying for those who didn't get it. He says pickpocketing at Central Joburg. Yeah, and I'd love to hear from you. Places that you definitely not going to be visiting during these holidays. Places that you will avoid by all means these holidays. I'd love to hear from you. Send us your voice note to 072 702 1702 or just call us on 011 883 0702 and tell us which place you won't be visiting and why. You'll do your best to avoid that particular place. Let us know. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Can be somewhat of a depressing time for a number of people because we are all expected to be in a jubilant, happy mood for the festive season. People putting together their plans, bragging about where they'll be going. For a number of individuals, they will just appear happy, but deep inside, they'll be suffering from a phenomena called holiday blues, which involves acknowledging your feelings that you're not doing very well during this time of the year. So we've asked clinical psychologist Dr. Dumi Mashego to come help us navigate this phenomena of holiday blues. Dr. Mashego, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the listeners.
Is it even a thing, holiday blues?
Yes, sadly it is because everything has shut down. And we are almost forced to sit with ourselves. So if you've been avoiding, to sit with those feelings, this is a time where everything shuts down. We're now faced with the reality of whatever it is that you've been avoiding. But also, I think we are on soldier mode. So you can imagine we've been on this adrenaline drive and now suddenly it's almost like you crash. So that can lead also to feeling down. But also, this time of the year, the thing that they sell is family. The thing that's being sold is family. The thing that, we see people with matching pajamas posting. And if you're functioning from a place of lack, or, if you're grieving or you're supposed to grieve, you haven't grieved, you are still to begin to grieve, or you've got a toxic family. It can be quite triggering to be in this time, right? So there can be a lot of stress, sadness, anxiety, or even loneliness. And I think also I always say to people, social media is not a real place. People can post happy pictures and be the most depressed. So I think we need to also just understand that what is being posted is not necessarily the reality and do the work within.
Are there any age groups or individuals or any groupings amongst us who are more prone and vulnerable to this phenomena of holiday blues than the rest?
I think it's starting to even trickle down to the youngsters. My goodness. And it might be because of, I don't know, this, when you come back to school, they're talking about what did you do during the holiday, right? And now they're bragging about going overseas, Cape Town, and maybe you just went to go see Gogo and you had fun. But when you look at people's pictures and you know what I mean, I think we're judging ourselves on this having a perfect holiday, right? And we're showing off perfect holidays. And the reality is even going to Gogo is nice. Even going to go visit family might be nice. Or just doing nothing and resting. Because the whole year you've been working, you've been hectic. And now this is a time where the fatigue might set in and you really feel it. This is a time where you can rest. But I think in this time people don't really look at it as a time to rest. I think what's been sold, as I said, is let's spend time with family, let's have a good holiday, let's have fun. Which can make some people feel left out, anxious, stressed, depressed sometimes.
Is it mainly based on societal expectations?
Definitely, right? And as I said, because in the era of social media, what's trending in society is put out there. Right? It's not like you're just hearing about it. You see it everywhere, right? You see it everywhere when you open any social media platform that, people are doing this. It's a trend. So you feel left out. People are going here at this time and you've never been or you don't have the finances for it. And I think that also causes a lot of pressure or holiday blues for some people because financially it's just not possible to do anything or to give to people anything. And people are expecting gifts. Right, and maybe there's so much financial stress that you're having that you're not actually able to do anything for anybody, even yourself, because you're barely covering the basics. So I think it can create that sort of, awareness that, oh my gosh, by the way, I've got this financial stress.
How do I know that I've got holiday blues? Are there any apparent symptoms where you could say that these three things, definitely this is holiday blues?
I always say look at your behavior in terms of sleep. Are you sleeping too much or sleeping too little? Your mood as well. Are you irritable, snapping a lot? Are you fatigued? How's your energy levels, right? And also your appetite. Are you, as I said, are you eating too much, eating too little? And self-medication. So that can be either over-the-counter medication, it doesn't have to be strong substances, or are you, hitting the bottle? The hardcore stuff all day, every day, right? And you're sitting there by yourself, not able to go home for various reasons, because some people cannot go home because there's so much toxicity there. They feel it's better to actually not be surrounded by that. And so those are some of the signs. And also just not experiencing joy. I think that is also just because even if you are by yourself, the fact that you are unable to sit with yourself and be comfortable in your skin alone, then that can also be a sign that, maybe you're not okay.
8 minutes to 5 o'clock. You're on 7:02. I'm standing in for John. My name is Thabo Sholemashao. Great to have you with us, and we're together till 6. My guest, Dr. Dumi Mashego, clinical psychologist. We're speaking about something that a number of people would be embarrassed to admit or to share with some, and it's called holiday blues, where you have a feeling of emptiness inside of you during this time, and you don't want to express that because you'll sound like and seem like a weirdo of sorts who doesn't have family, who doesn't want to be with friends, who's not jolly and happy and in a jubilant mood, and perhaps some may even think and suggest that you are a bit of a psycho simply because you are a pariah of sorts and you'd be alone at home. Have you suffered from that? I'm interested in knowing from you if that's how you feel. Dr. Dumi Mashego has been sharing with us some of the symptoms of holiday blues syndrome with us. How does it manifest itself? I'm wondering to what extent have you felt that? And a number of people really despise this time of the year because that's when holiday blues visit them. During the year, they've got work, they're active, they've got places to go, appointments, meetings, and this, that, and the other. Dr. Mashego, to what extent can this be detrimental to my physical and perhaps mental health? How far does it go if not taken seriously and being dealt with?
So anything we don't attend to psychologically that, we're struggling with, unfortunately, progressively you get worse. Right. So you might, today struggle with sleep, then sleep now becomes something else. You're dealing with different things. And I always say to people, with stress, if you're not handling it, you're gonna get these physical symptoms without a physical cause. Now, today it's a headache, your immune system is just not budging. So you can deteriorate in terms of just your physical functioning and also psychologically as well, where now it's now bordering on a diagnosis of things like depression or anxiety disorder. Right. So I think really we need to be aware of ourselves and how we react to things, but also just check in with ourselves and have that awareness all the time. I know that it's the end of the year. Many psychologists are off now, but honestly, if you're really feeling it's really overwhelming, you do get clinics where, if you are really not coping, that you can actually go there because there's people on call. There's psychiatrists on call, there's clinical psychologists on call. So help is available, even if, most people have shut down.
Yeah.
So yes, it can progressively definitely get worse if not attended to.
And if you feel perhaps you're too shy, or maybe the pocket doesn't allow, you don't have medical aid, or you just you didn't budget for it appropriately, some of the self-help things that one can do, pick up a book perhaps, call a friend. How do you do that also without seeming too strange? Because not everyone will understand what you're going through.
I think also just, doing the things that bring you joy. And I think this is the time to find those things. But, because we are soldiers, sometimes people don't actually know what brings them joy because their identity is wrapped around, their parenting role or work, and they actually don't know. So I always say, try new things. It's okay. Try dancing maybe, or painting. Maybe it brings you joy. Plants maybe. Google what are different hobbies that maybe I can take up in this time. Reading, it's okay, but it can also be more self-isolating. And for those already struggling, it can be a bit difficult to get into reading because it's so intense. Because people tend to read things like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And now, they're reading quite intense books. So it's almost counterproductive. So I think it's also just, reading light things, happy things, just be conscious of what you're reading.
Yes. Before I say goodbye, Doc, to what extent does this also extend itself to a year post the holiday? So perhaps you were feeling the holiday blues right now. You had the holiday blues for this December. But Jan, you're going back to work. It's business as usual. Could it have somehow in any way affected you so much that a part of you has now changed? Perhaps you've become more of a pessimist than you were before the holidays, or more of a recluse than you were before the holidays. Can it have lasting effects is exactly what I'm trying to ask.
If not attended to, yes, it can. Because what happens is things that we don't handle, they sit in our subconscious and they don't go anywhere until you've got the capacity to attend to them. And sometimes what happens is that thing that you did not attend to, it can grow and you are triggered by everything, but it can also become your character. And we say, man, this person, and then we start saying things like, no, they've changed, but unjalo. And there's no unjalo with a person. Nobody's born, a pessimist, for example. It's because of the things that have happened around them, the environment and the inability to process and navigate that has led to them being, a pessimist. So yes, it can definitely, if unattended, but also remember, it's not happening, probably during the year, this person was struggling with something. It's just the time now, just, pushed it over the edge. So I think it's just important to do that check-in and become more self-aware so that, you're able to cope with the holiday seasons and with life generally. But definitely staying connected to people is important, maintaining a routine. So do get up, even if it's holidays. Go outside, have sunshine, even if it's not beachfront, sunshine outside, outside your house is also fine. And plan, for what great things can come after the holiday blues.
Always a pleasure talking to you. Really appreciate your time, Dr. Dumi Mashego, clinical psychologist, 2 minutes to 5.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're finally taking your long-awaited break.
You're going to see your family.
And you're saying goodbye for now.
To your 9 to 5.
But you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite talk station.
Talk station.
This festive season, 702 will keep playing your favorite songs.
Having engaging conversations.
And keeping you entertained. So, make sure to sit back,
relax,
and walk the talk with us this festive season.
Download the Prime Media Plus app to make sure you don't miss a single conversation.
Happy holidays
from 702.
Need some extra cash for all the presents on your gift list? Well, Outsurance could have some awesome savings or cash for you. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't beat your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand cash if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get festive savings or cash. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. A licensed insurer in FSP. T's and C's online.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Ha, guys, you must know your till slip is gonna get even longer. That new discount better rewards card gets you 10% off instantly. Hey, but now, on top of that discount, you get an extra 5% off on over 140 brands. You just hand in your script or shop from the pharmacy. With 15% off instantly at the till. Your discount till slip never looked better. How nice, man.
Every December, it's the same story. New toys, new clothes, and more takeaways. And by January, the bonus is gone. Grow it, don't blow it. With a Netbank investment. Invest 100,000 Rand or more in a Netbank 12-month electronic fixed deposit account and stand a chance to win 50,000 Rand. Invest your bonus and grow your future. See money differently. Netbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Some moments only come around once, like the Audi year-end sale. Get the Audi A1 from 6,999 per month, with no deposit, a 90-day payment break, so you only start paying next year. Plus, a guaranteed buyback. There's limited time to show up, but unlimited time to stand out in the Audi A1. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest Audi dealer before the 24th of December. T's and C's apply.
This is EWN.
NPA head Shamila Batoyi leaves an inquiry she called for, and South Africans urged to spend wisely this festive season. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. NPA head Shamila Batoyi has left the inquiry looking into the fitness of Johannesburg Director of Public Prosecutions Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office. Batoyi abandoned proceedings after being reprimanded by the panel at the inquiry today. Batoyi has been testifying as the main witness against Chauke after accusing him of making politically motivated prosecutorial decisions. Over the past 2 weeks, Batoyi has been pressed by the panelists witness to substantiate the allegations against him. Nogukanya Mdambo has more.
It was during Advocate Shamila Batowi's testimony today that she mentioned that she had spoken to KZN Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Elaine Harrison, over the weekend. This was regarding a decision that was made to withdraw prosecution in one of the Cater Manor Unit cases. But the panel, led by retired Justice Bes Nkabinde, questioned Batowi on this, reprimanding her for speaking to a witness. The inquiry broke for lunch, and when proceedings resumed, Batowi left without seeking permission from the panel. She was later called back into the chamber. Batowi was further reprimanded by the panel, which pointed out her seniority, citing that she should know how to behave. She's now left the sitting, saying she's not prepared to continue testifying before she gets legal advice. Nogukanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
The DA in KwaZulu-Natal has defended the work of the Government of Provincial Unity, insisting the coalition is stable. This afternoon, Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli retained his position as the leader of the province by surviving a motion to oust him. That motion was brought forward by the MK party, which has accused the coalition of failing to deliver services as well as financial mismanagement. DA leader in KZN, Dean McPherson, says the current administration is doing okay.
The provincial government is very, very stable. That's why you are seeing these play out today. If they had the numbers, they would have sat down and they would have put up their hands. They don't want to put up their hands because they know that they're going to lose.
McPherson says the chaos caused in the House deserves to be addressed.
And this is totally unacceptable what we're seeing. Intimidation, threats, and the irony is that the MK was complaining of intimidation, but here they are, intimidating the Premier, intimidating MECs, intimidating members. They are the ones that are problematic in this House.
The presidency says telecoms regulator ICASA should be given space to assess the new policy directive that would allow Starlink to operate in South Africa under more flexible rules. Communications Minister Solly Malatsi recently published a policy directive instructing ICASA to permit foreign investors to set up shop without being required to cede 30% of equity. The move is widely seen as facilitating tech billionaire Elon Musk's Starlink company to operate in the country. Speaking at a media briefing in Pretoria today, the presidency emphasized that while Malatsi's policy directive is lawful, ICASA must independently review and consider his directive. Alpha Ramashwana reports.
South African law requires foreign-owned telecommunications companies to hold at least 30% black ownership. This mandate, which is part of the BBBEE framework, aims to address past racial inequalities. But tech billionaire Elon Musk has publicly criticized the policy, claiming that South Africa discriminates against white-owned foreign companies. While presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya insists ICASA should be allowed time to independently judge Communications Minister Solly Malatsi's policy directive, he says Starlink is not the only cookie in the jar.
So we should just avoid the trap of getting fixated over Starlink. There are 4 or 5 other companies that have expressed interest in providing their services here in South Africa.
The ANC and EFF believe that Malatsi's policy directive seeks to bypass BBBEE regulations. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
And the National Credit Regulator has urged South Africans to spend wisely and avoid a post-festive financial hangover come January next year. With approximately 10 million South Africans already over-indebted, the organisation has warned against impulsive spending during the silly season. NCR spokesperson Winnie Rabatata says, although the South African Reserve Bank's recent repo rate cut provides short-term relief, consumers must not misinterpret this as a license to spend big.
It is important to save so that in Jan, you don't find yourself being overwhelmed with lots of debt. Saving is also a priority. Spend wisely. Do not let social pressures get you into debt. And always ensure that when you do borrow, you borrow wisely from registered credit providers.
Gold is trading at $4,346.44 an ounce. The rand is at 16.83 to the dollar, 22.52 to the pound, 19.67 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $61.41 a barrel.
Fountains heading into the Pretoria CBD. You can still expect about a 20-minute delay. N14 northbound from Euphrates to Kgosi Mampuru. In Selby, there's still about an hour delay leaving the Joburg CBD. This is on on the M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road.
In your sport, the Proteas T20 struggles continue as India takes series lead. Enzo Maresca slams lack of support at Chelsea amid his worst 48 hours at the club. And World Rugby says lower tackle heights to be trialled at the Under-20 World Championships.
A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated thundershowers expected. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 15 degrees, peaking at a high of 28. Pretoria 16 and 30 and Vereniging 15 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. NPA head Shamila Batoyi has left the inquiry looking into the fitness of Joburg Director of Public Prosecutions Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Welcome back. You're on 702, 10 minutes after 5 o'clock. Tabo in for John. We're together till 6. Great having you with us. And in the previous hour, we touched on a number of issues, including the holiday blues. We're speaking to Dr. Dumi Mashego, clinical psychologist, about navigating holiday blues. Some people will feel down. Naturally, not everyone is going to be thrilled in the holiday spirit. And how do you navigate your feelings to a better place so that when you come back rejuvenated, and so that you also enjoy this time one way or the other. So we had that chat, and all, as you would already know by now, our podcast would contain all those discussions that we've had. So feel free to engage with us at any point on 011-883-0702. In a short while, I'll be speaking to political analyst Brutus Malada, and we'll be looking at the failed motion of no confidence against the Premier of KZN, Tami Ntuli, amidst violent, chaotic scenes that play themselves out in the KZN legislature in Maritzburg. And would like to find out where to from here. MK seems very, very intent on having their way or no other way at all. So he'll give us a bit of insights on that. And a little bit later on, we'll speak to Prof. Pierre DeFos. And so stay tuned for all that and more. But for now, on 011-883-0702, alternatively, get in touch with us. As we asked you earlier, these holidays, which place you'd like to avoid with all that you can?
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon. Please don't catch me Kodi Bateng. If you don't know where that is, it's Aventura in Bella Bella. Debating in December. I could never. Needless to say, I used to do it as a kid though.
Yeah.
I was one of those kids that came in a combi or with our parents with their Stockville friends and cool-out boxes and picnic blankets and alles, and I am not doing that. My parents were brave, but me, and this.
Holiday blues. Uncle Tabo, tell me about it. Good afternoon to the 702 family. Holiday blues. Hey, we're tired. This adulting thing, growing up being an adult. Christmas, and then it's back to school. After those 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's back to school. Another stress again. I'm like, guys, adulting is a trap. Don't grow up.
The thing that, we see people with.
Good afternoon, 702, DK from Joburg. The place that I would not want to be at, banks. Banks. I do not want to see myself in any bank. The queues are long and it's just hectic. So, and another place that I would not go to the malls. I do not want to see myself in those shops. I don't want to see myself anywhere near town. I wish to see myself in the bushes. That is where peace is, guys. If you want peace this season, just go in the bushes if you go on a holiday.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. CBD, banks, that's not where you want to be seen during these holidays. It is so packed, and it's just going to make your experience a horrible one. An entirely horrible experience.
I was laughing with the water park ones.
Oh, yeah,
because,
yeah.
sheesh, yeah, you see, your strange things.
Tomorrow.
But what like the choki, basima kadi BB box, guys. Go buy costumes if you're gonna go to the water park, please.
Or just shorts. Or just simply shorts.
Boxer shorts. But what like the boxer shorts, man? And then you're like, really?
14 minutes after 5 o'clock.
EWN Traffic.
Stop talking about shorts. Talk about traffic. What's happening on our roads, Karabo?
Well, at this stage, not looking too bad, I must say. No serious accidents have been reported on our highways at this stage. However, if you're in the Pretoria area, Fountains, expect about a 20-minute delay heading into the CBD. N14 northbound. This is between Euphorus and Khosi Mampuru, Protea Glen. We still have bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound from the R554 Abu Bakr Drive to the R558. In Selby, leaving the Joburg CBD, you can expect about a 30-minute delay. This is on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nazareth Road. Also coming from the Parktown area, traveling towards Boyson's M1 South, traffic a bit sluggish. This is between Empire and the Crown Interchange. And finally, in Springs, heading towards Emalahleni, traffic remains heavily backed up, but this is on the N12 eastbound between Pansy and Nell Street. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
702 indeed. I don't know if you've been following the news very closely. It could be that you were occupied at work a little bit earlier on, but there was a motion of no confidence against the Premier of KZN, Tamin Duli, at the legislature in Maritzburg, Peter Maritzburg, earlier on. The scenes were very chaotic, and I'm euphemizing if I say very chaotic. They were just a jamboree of sorts where fists were exchanged, water bottles were flying through, singing, dancing, fighting, literally all those things that I'm mentioning. It was short of becoming a bloodbath, and simply because there were disagreements as to whether there should be a secret ballot or open ballot. And there are implications to that, because you'd remember that the MK party had received more votes in the previous elections, but not enough to go over the required 50% plus one threshold. It was lesser than that. So as a result, the number of other parties clubbed together, and in part, if you follow your current affairs very closely, it was because there were parties that were trying to get hold of President Jacob Zuma to negotiate, working with him, but he was AWOL and he was not available for meetings up until parties got exasperated and decided to do their own thing on their own. But to help us understand the implications of what took place in Peter Maritzburg today is Brutus Malada, who is a political analyst. He joins us right now. Brutus, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tabu, and good afternoon to the listeners of 702.
Is there more to come? Because clearly, after this motion of no confidence, it appears as though MKP is intent on making sure that they will end up ruling at least that province.
MKP is aggrieved that it was left out of the coalition arrangement despite them having more votes than any other party in the province. So we should expect that this fight will continue. But this points to call it a weakness in our system, in our political system, of a regulatory framework on motions of no confidence. So they can literally bring another motion of no confidence, even if it means next month, because that process is not regulated. So there are calls that are being made by others to say, let's have a process to regulate so that we do not have frivolous motions. So that regulation should fix both the frequency of motions of no confidence as well as the substance of motions of no confidence, so that you don't have a person standing tomorrow and say, I don't like the Premier, I'm raising a vote of no confidence. But there could be substantive issues that are identified that could be used for such motions of no confidence. So I think it clearly points to a gap that we have.
What are we to make, especially of that MPL from the NFP, whilst the NFP was intent on supporting MKP together with EFF? Do we see that more and more of MPL's MPs even want to be independent and are prone to seek their own independent vote from those sentiments that are held by the party or the mandate of the party?
Yeah, it's very difficult when you are a party representative to go against the instruction from the party headquarters, because you are there not on your own behalf, and then you take the mandate of the party. And this also, it points to another gap in terms of this open vote versus a secret ballot. So if MPs were actually voting according to their conscience, not according to the will of those who run the party at the headquarters, we would have different outcomes. But unfortunately, they know where their bread is buttered, and therefore they are forced to vote according to the instructions from the political party. So if we had a regulation that says that motions of no confidence on a mayor, on a premier, on the president must be done through a secret ballot, that would seal the whole thing, and it will make those who can stand up for a conscience raise their voice through the ballot and vote according to their will, not according to the will of the party leaders.
And where to from here? Is it fait accompli that MKP will at some point, sooner or later, run the province?
I think we can expect that the wrestling will continue until MKP convinces others to jump ship and vote with them. And my suspicion is that they may have done their groundwork with other members in the ANC, since we know that the factions in the ANC, as they intensify, things start to shift towards the other political parties. So we have learned from different metros that these kinds of votes do happen, that a member of a political party can end up voting with another party. So I expect that MKP will not rest. They will continue to fight to wrestle the premiership out of the hands of the IFP and the ANC, because they are aggrieved that they have got more numbers than the rest. But I think we should also read this as part of an election strategy for the MKP, because elections are around the corner. And mind you, Thabo, we have had two motions of no confidence against two premiers, one for Gauteng and the one for KZN, in the space of 2 months. So election season has started, and parties will use some of this as part of building a momentum towards the 2026 local government elections. And we should not be surprised that there will be many of these coming up in the election season.
Brutus, thanks very much for your time and your insights on this complex matter that keeps unfolding in KZN. Really appreciate your time. Brutus Malada is political analyst, 22 after 5.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
106 F, that's 702. Thanks very much for joining us. You might have read a piece that pointed to the judiciary in South Africa becoming better despite all these other shenanigans that we may be exposed to. So this prompted a question amongst us as a team here today as we're putting the show together to try to know from you, where do you stand with the judiciary, the South African judiciary? Is it on a path to better things, or is it regressing, especially when you see the commissions, and without necessarily pronouncing on the conclusions and the outcomes thereof? But when such matters are on TV, Judge Mbenenge and many others, not many, but some others, do you feel that you still have the confidence in our judiciary? Well, Pierre de Vos seems to suggest that we are making progress. We are better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be certainly better than today. Mbegezeli Benjamin needs no introduction at all. He's from Judges Matter, where he's a researcher, and he'll be sharing his thoughts with us on the subject. Mbegezeli, good afternoon. Welcome to 702.
Good afternoon, Thabo, and good afternoon to the listeners. Thank you very much.
Public perception may not be real, but it holds a lot of weight. The judiciary, as we know it now, where would you put it, Mbegezeli? Do you think that despite the examples that I've cited now, the public still has confidence in the judiciary? And let alone the public, is the judiciary doing better than it did previously?
Look, Thabo, I can say that the public generally in South Africa does trust the judiciary. A lot of people have faith in the judiciary and in its integrity, and rightly so. But 2025 was a particularly challenging year, and the reputation of the judiciary took quite a battering in terms of what we see, in terms of the allegations, the tribunals, and the like. And so, in some ways, those kinds of things are things that we wish would not happen. But what is a silver lining, I think, is that we are seeing the system at work. I mean, when you see the Judicial Conduct Tribunal against Judge Mbenenge, that is exactly how the system should work. If there are complaints of something like sexual harassment against anyone, and certainly someone as powerful as the judge president, we should see them being taken through the normal systems like the Judicial Conduct Tribunal to prove their guilt or innocence. And so for us, that is something that we wish that it would not happen, but the fact that it is happening through this formal system is something that I think is good. We hope that in future we never see any more of these, but we are certainly not disappointed to see the system at work.
Is the judiciary in Mbegezeli, before I say goodbye, open to criticism? Because we have seen, especially with the previous Chief Justice, he was not a big fan of the media, even though he was a popular Chief Justice. He did not necessarily have nice things to say about criticism, and without necessarily making him the epitome of everything else that the judiciary stands for. But generally, is the judiciary open to criticism where you can come through and say, but I don't think that the judge is doing the right thing, you disagree with the judgment or how he conducts himself? Is that atmosphere conducive and open to scrutiny?
Look, one of the fundamental values of the South African Constitution is accountability. And the way that the judiciary is held accountable is through criticism. The criticism must be informed, it must be factual. If a judge got a case wrong in terms of the law, they should be held accountable through reasoned, detailed criticism, pointing out all of the ways in which they were wrong. And so we, as Judges Matter, are probably one of the strongest critics of the judiciary, but our criticism is based on things that we observe, things that we can measure, and things that are factual. And that is, I think, the difference between the kind of criticism that is contemplated by the Constitution versus ad hominem attacks, which usually would just be on social media to say that, look, the judiciary is captured or corrupt or the like, without bringing forward the facts that support that kind of statement.
And lastly, what about overreach, as the judiciary had to be an arbiter in various instances that involved government and somehow the intersection of law and politics?
Look, I struggle with the concept of overreach because there's no definition in the law anywhere that I've seen. But in terms of the Constitution, again, we do have a separation of powers, and the judiciary does have a line that they have to hold. They can't, for example, tell the National Treasury how to spend the budget. That, I think, would be overreach. And I think for the longest time, judges have been extremely sensitive about staying in their lane and keeping to that separation of powers. There have been instances where there have been harsh criticism against the other arms of state, and maybe that can be considered as some sort of overreach, but I don't think that we have that kind of problem in South Africa. But what we do need, I think, is some of those disputes that should be settled in Parliament. They shouldn't even be coming to the courts, and that is what complicates our separation of powers principle.
Mbegezeli Benjamin, Judges Matter researcher, thanks very much for your time. Always a pleasure talking to you. 29 after 5.
EWN Business.
Finances, markets, and everything else. The SG of media in South Africa, Stephen Grote. Steve, what's the latest, bro?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Yeah, so the JSE All-Share not quite in the holiday mood, maybe prematurely hungover, I don't know. Down 0.39%, 112,863 is where things ended. Financials are up 1.43, industrials are down 0.14, resources are down 2.28. So look, gold is lower, but it's at $4,300, people. So, you know, lots of sort of predictions, including on the Money Show on Friday. It'll hit $5,000 early in the new year, or maybe not early, but depending on what happens. Platinum prices a little lower from where they were, but also much higher than they've been. So I think there's a little bit of profit taking, perhaps. DRD gold is down 8.94%. Harmony is down 4.56%. Sibanye is down 3.9%. Pan African Resources down 3.64%. And then HCI, there are certain dynamics underneath in the middle of HCI is in the middle of they're sort of remanaging themselves a little bit. They're down 3.62%. The Power Group is up 3.86%, and Bidcore is up 2.27%. While one or two other interesting shares like Life Healthcare are up 2%, AB InBev are up 2%, and then Capitec and Sanlam, both of course financial shares, they're up 2% as well on the day. 7 companies now selected as pre-qualified bidders to be part of building the transmission grid. There's so much work to do there. Bit of a geographic spread. Companies from France, from China, some that operate in the Middle East being a big part of it. And then also, just to sort of reiterate, the presidency, it seems to be supporting the Communications Minister, Solly Malatsi, from the DA, and those gazetted changes to allow ICASA to consider equity equivalent investment programs. For the moment, the story is kind of, will it mean that Starlink can come here? The presidency saying today it's not just about one entity. There are lots of others. There are others. That's still very interesting. But the presidency seemed to bat for that. We'll talk more about that on the Money Show. I thought it's very interesting. There's a lot going on there. In the US, still a little bit of trepidation, I think, over AI valuations, Tabo. I'm also just waiting for a lot more data to come through from the U.S. Federal Reserve. So the Dow Jones is down 0.12, the Nasdaq is down 0.23, the S&P 500 is down 0.04. I meant data from the federal government after that shutdown. The gold price, $4,323.90 an ounce. Platinum, $1,795.89. Brent crude, $60.62. The rand to the dollar, stronger today, 16.77 to the euro, 19.34 to the British pound, 22.46. On the Money Show tonight, more on Starlink, more on the wine business and the wine harvest that we've seen. Wine's not actually my thing at all, but we'll talk a bit more about that and how that's looking. We look at consumer confidence, because a lot of evidence showing that people are feeling a bit more confident. They've got a bit more money in their pockets. What does that mean for the stationery and uniform shop in January? I'm not sure. And then also looking forward to how I make my money with Peter Tempelhoff, the chef. Yeah. He started out, I have to ask him if this is true, it's what it says, that he started out studying economics. Right. And now he's a chef. Huh?
Deviation, talking about that. But talking about wine not being your thing, you have to tell us, what is your thing?
I will say that most of it's made in Ireland.
No prizes for guessing, but I'll give you a bottle of one for Christmas. 28 minutes to 6 o'clock. Eyewitness News headlines. Mbali standing by. Good afternoon again, Mbali.
Thanks, Tabo. Good afternoon. Communications Minister Solly Malatsi has dismissed calls to withdraw his policy directive to allow companies like Starlink to operate without meeting certain BEE requirements. Malatsi says the opposition to his directive is all about political expediency. It follows calls by Communications Portfolio Committee Chairperson Kusela Sangoni Diko for the immediate withdrawal of that directive. She says it goes against the spirit of the law. Babalondenze reports.
Solimalat's draft directive was first published in May this year, before it went out for public participation. Last week, Malatsi gazetted the directive following the public participation process. He says most people are in favor of the move to allow companies like Starlink to invest in equity equivalents as opposed to selling part of the business to a local black investor in accordance with triple BEE laws.
And upon an interrogation of those submissions, the support for the policy directive was overwhelming.
Malatsi says there's no need to withdraw the directive despite some opposition.
So there is, quite frankly, no need for any action beyond what we have done with making sure that the policy directive is consistent with the law.
Meanwhile, Communications Committee Chairperson Kusela Sangonitiko says they will convene a meeting in the new year to consider the developments. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News.
Action SA has reiterated its call for the city of Cape Town to deal with what it says is a rapidly developing sewage crisis along Cape Town's coastline. The party made submissions to an independent appeals panel after lodging a complaint against the city. This was over irregularities in obtaining permits to pump sewage from 3 marine outfalls. Action SA says that appeal was lodged 2 years ago. About 20 million litres of untreated sewage has been discharged into Cape Town's waters in breach of licensing conditions. Carlo Peterson has more.
Action SA National Chairperson Michael Beaumont held a media briefing at Greenpoint's Marine Outfall today to again highlight concerns about raw sewage being pumped into the ocean. Beaumont says the city keeps being granted permits to pump untreated sewage into the ocean despite public health and environment concerns.
Effectively, Action SA has grown concerned about the fact that the licensing conditions which are given to the city of Cape Town to put sewage out into this natural environment have not been met over a very long period of time.
The city has refuted Action SA's claims, saying it has not received any new permits and its current permit is being reviewed by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News at Seapoint Promenade.
And experts at Standard Bank have cautioned consumers to juggle their finances carefully this festive season. With public holidays, shutdowns and year-end leave, the festive season fast-tracks the December payroll cycle. As a result, experts say January feels like the longest month, with an early December salary having to cover both Christmas and back-to-school costs. Solution owner for digital money manager at Standard Bank, Shanae Motilal, says this has extended gap can make managing money challenging.
We've been analysing this phenomenon that South Africans have typically coined very playfully as the January that never seems to end. And actually, there's some truth in it. Analysing the pay gaps between December and January for salaried workers actually reveals that we wait 6 to 7 days longer than in any other month.
Motilal says there are tools to avoid financial anxiety at the start of the year. A partly cloudy Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated thundershowers expected. Lows of between 15 and 16 degrees and highs of between 28 and 30.
Heading into Soweto, there's an accident scene in Southgate N12 westbound before the Deep Roof interchange, slowing down traffic. Also leaving the Joburg CBD, expect some delays on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec.
The top story in EWN, Communications Minister Solimalatsi has dismissed calls to withdraw his policy directive to allow companies like Starlink to operate without meeting certain BEE requirements.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're finally taking your long-awaited break.
You're going to see your family.
And you're saying goodbye for now
to your 9 to 5.
But you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite talk station.
Talk station.
This festive season, 702 will keep playing your favorite songs,
having engaging conversations,
and keeping you entertained. So, make sure to sit back,
relax,
and walk the talk with us this festive season.
Download the Prime Media Plus app to make sure you don't miss a single conversation.
Happy holidays
from 702.
End the year on a high with instant payment. How, you ask? Sell it to We Buy Cars. Simply complete the form on webuycars.co.za and there you have it. A great offer within minutes. Ready to take it further? Sealing the deal with your dream ride? Explore over 12,000 vehicles on webuycars.co.za. Easy, right? With We Buy Cars. It always is.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for real estate agencies, law firms, computer services, and more. Yakolin?
We saved a lot of money when we switched over from another insurance company to Business Outsurance. We've had some claims and they were friendly and efficient and paid out when they promised.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Hello, I'm Reverend Musa Zondi, the MSc of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs in KwaZulu-Natal. As a department, we would like to welcome all visitors coming to our beautiful province during the year-end holidays. We appreciate that holidays are a wonderful time to get together with families and visiting relatives. We are committed to ensuring that your holiday experience is enjoyable with our warm hospitality, beautiful destinations, and a variety of entertainment events across all districts. When you go out, we urge you to buy goods and food from clean establishments and ensure that the products you purchase are in good and safe condition. We would like to take this opportunity to wish you happy, safe, and blessed holidays and a smooth transition into the new year.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
On the next Money Show, we kick things off with the agricultural economist, Wandile Seklobo. As South Africa's wine grape industry heads into 2026 with a lot of optimism, then as festive plans take shape, we unpack the insurance risks of holiday home swaps, Airbnb hosting, and car loans with Ernest North. But after that, we explore the art of culinary success with our How I Make My Money guest, Peter Templehoff, the award-winning chef. And as always, expert analysis of the day's biggest business news.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by ABSA CIB, accelerating infrastructure-led growth and economic resilience through the South African National Treasury's 11.8 billion rand infrastructure and development finance bond. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hello, 702 and all the listeners. Lebo and Park Ridge. One place I do not want to be seen at, not just this December, but for life, is Durban South Beach. My goodness. You know, you have people baptizing Babangwe and Bambakapa on the side, some with the 2 liters, whatever, Coke, collecting a whole lot of holy water. I don't know if it is. And they have a boy peeing right next to them. And I tell you what, people drunk, all sorts of things. I tell you, do not see me there. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chabo and the team. Anonymous here. I don't want to find myself at the Bike Bridge border post.
Oh, yes.
This season.
Oh, yes.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. No, it's certainly those two places. Also, I don't want to find myself anywhere near Durban. No, I don't. Oh, wow. I once made a huge mistake. On New Year's Day, I had to meet someone that side. On New Year's Day. Goodness me, the traffic, and it was in Mhlanga. The traffic was just hideous, let alone everything else. On the 1st of Jan, it was the worst mistake that I made for a meeting. I'd never do that again. But in case you're wondering, welcome back. We're asking about a place where you wouldn't dare be seen these holidays. A place where you really don't want to be seen at. And a place that you'll avoid by all possible means because it's going to be so packed or it's just not your vibe at this time of the year. 18 minutes to 6 o'clock. You're on 702. Tabo in for John.
EWN Sport.
with the great Tholakele Mganga, who'll give us the very latest in the sporting world. Tholakele, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Tabo. And Hugo Bruce has apologized for his choice of words towards Mbegeze Limbogazi and his agent Basia Michaels, insisting that he's not racist or sexist. It comes after the United Democratic Movement lodged a formal complaint with the South African Human Rights Commission over remarks made by the Bafana Bafana coach at a press briefing last Wednesday. He was angry at the defender arriving a day late for AFCON 2025 preparation camp and questioned his decision to move to the MLS in January rather than waiting until after the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
I let my fatherly side get the better of me in my response because I saw that things could go wrong. It would be a waste if Mbokazi didn't pursue the career he was destined due to a lack of proper guidance. A guidance he needs as an unexperienced, young, humble, talented player. I agree that my choice of words was not the right one, and I want to apologize for that. But I repeat, I never wanted to make a racist or sexist comment. I'm neither a racist or a sexist.
Orlando Pirates have made it 3 cup wins in 5 months following a 2-0 triumph over an All-Stars team in the Carling Cup. As domestic football pauses for AFCON, Arslan Madu has issued a strong warning that the Buccaneers are determined to compete for and win every available trophy.
Every game that you start, we must win them. Every competition that you start, it with the target to win that competition. So all what is going to be on the table, meaning the league, meaning the Net Cup, all the competition, we are playing to win that competition. So we don't have to hide. Why hiding? You need to show your card to be able to go to challenge these competitions. But it will not be easy. We have to be humble, to work.
Ruben Amorim has questioned the quality being produced by Manchester United's academy ahead of their Premier League clash against Bournemouth tonight. It comes as midfielder Kobbie Mainoo struggles to break into the first team, while he's also criticised the performance levels of teenagers Chido Obi and Harry Amas.
All of them are the same. For you guys, there are some players that you believe a lot, and I believe a lot, but sometimes I have to make choices. We play with 2 midfielders in these games. We could change in the future. But Kobbie Mainoo is playing in the same position as Bruno Fernandes. Sometimes it's really hard to take Bruno Fernandes out of the team, and that is the only reason.
And Tasman Brits believes that she has 2 more international tournaments left in her to play before calling time on her international career. Her comments come ahead of the Proteas women's second ODI against Ireland tomorrow, which forms part of their preparations for next year's T20 World Cup.
Funny enough, I actually said to Coach when I rejoined the team, because before the World Cup final, he called a few of the seniors and said this might be our last one. And yeah, we always thinking that, but I sat him down on the cooler box and I said to him, he mustn't get rid of me yet. I'm definitely going to try and stay as fit as I possibly can, definitely improve on my game. Yeah, I'd like to play one more ODI. T20 World Cup coming up now. Of course, we keep saying we want to be, the world champs. So that's never changed. Whether it's my ambition or the team's ambition, I think that stays the same.
Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
With Mr. K, he'll tell us what's the latest and how the traffic looks. Garamo?
Yes, Mr. T, at this stage, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay in the fountains heading into the Pretoria CBD. N14 northbound between Euphorius and Kgosi Mampuru. Roodepoort traveling towards Kagiso Leratong, slow-moving traffic on Randfontein Road. This is approaching Adcock Road. While in Protea Plain, there's still bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is traveling into Lenasia, Soweto, N12 westbound from the R554 Abu Bakr Drive to the R558. Selby leaving the Joburg CBD. Expect about a 30-minute delay on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec Road, and in Edenville heading towards Bedford View. Traffic is a bit sluggish. R24 westbound from Edenville Road to the to the Crown Interchange. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
Well, 13 minutes to 6 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us, Thabo, in for John. Speaking of John, if he were here, and he would be looking at a song with a certain meaning behind it and ask you to participate, and share your thoughts about a song. We're just talking about December is a bit different to any other month because the radio is different, things are just different. And when you wake up in the morning, at times, you don't get that soft music that you would usually get if you are listening to something else. But what kind of a song would you like to wake up to on a December morning that says that this is a festive season? Which song? And I'm hoping not a slow, sloppy song as usual. You'd want something a bit pumping. Many years ago, there was a radio jock called Just Ice. Well, he's still around and he's still doing a great job. And on his show, very early in the morning, just after 6 o'clock in the morning, he'd pump a house song in the morning, a house song that would really ordinarily not be okay. But because it was December, it was a festive season, it would pump. And a song like this, and I would like you to share a song that is unlikely a morning song for you ordinarily, but for festive season, it's permissible to be a morning song. For us, it's exactly the song. promise you, ordinarily it wouldn't be a morning song, but because it's festive season, it just bangs like crazy. I'd love to hear from you. Which song would you like to wake up to this festive season? Feel free to do so on 072 702 1702 with your voice note or your text messages to the same number. Or alternatively, call us on 011 883 0702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
What exactly is happening that a woman can suffer mastitis?
Generally, mastitis is an infection in the breast, and it usually happens in the milk ducts. Many of us only respond after day 3, and now we really can't bear the pain, and now we go to the doctor. So my first recommendation is when your breasts are inflamed, they're hard, they're sore, and you've tried to release the milk, you can either release the milk by standing under a hot shower, or you can release the milk by putting a warm compress, like putting a warm cloth or a towel on your breast, and that little bit of relief helps you to now express milk just to soften the breast a little bit. But if this is not helping at home, then please, moms, you must go to the doctor. Do not wait beyond day 3.
Dr. Chantal Witten.
702 Afternoons
with Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
Team, summer is game time in Mzansi. Every tap, scan, swipe, it all adds up. And FNB is giving us big rewards, partner deals, e-bucks, defense tips, and chances to score experiences money can't buy. But you're only in the game if you pay with FNB. So stay sharp, spend clever, and let's dominate. Get in the game with FNB. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. NCRCP 20. T's and C's, earn rules and limits apply.
Join the summer spectacle of speed with Hollywood Bets. Take the reins with the sizzling summer competition. Bet 50 Rand or more on horse racing for a chance to win a share of 1 million Rand in prizes. This includes one of 8 all-expenses-paid VIP experiences to the 2026 WSB Cape Met. Saddle up and bet now for a chance to claim flaming fortunes at the finish line. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Yo, Chavo, summer days, Nick Holder. Wow, my guy, you about done yourself. Whoa, what a jam. Well done, Chavo. This is Gugu from Rosebank.
Okay, song for me is Black Eyed Peas. Tonight's gonna be a good night.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's the night. Let's live it up. I
Yeah, actually, I forgot to back announce that song. It was Nick Holder, Summer Days. Indeed, it was. Well, here's some text messages that have come through. No time, so let's go straight to Tessa's one. And Tessa says, I'd like to wake up to Jerusalem. Love it. And that's DJ KG, I think.
Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana
I said DJ KG, it shows you how backwards I am. Master KG, please forgive me, Master KG. I don't have the cool in me, I see, but this is Jerusalem. At some point, it took the world by a storm, from Spain, China, Swaziland to Iraq. Everywhere, everyone was singing to this song. It's also Stephen Groote's favorite song, by the way.
Oh, you're the master of cool, you said.
He was jamming to it. Thanks for indulging us. It's been wonderful. Have a good one. The Money Show up next.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, proud sole